In the heart of what is now modern-day Nigeria, the Kingdom of Benin flourished for centuries, a beacon of power, culture, and extraordinary artistic achievement. Its royal palace, a sprawling complex of courtyards and galleries, was adorned with thousands of intricate plaques and sculptures cast in brass and bronze. These weren't just decorations, they were the kingdom's history, its memory, its soul, meticulously cast in metal. They depicted revered kings, noble queens, pivotal battles, and sacred ceremonies. We know them today as the Benin Bronzes, and their story is one of breathtaking beauty, brutal colonial violence, and a lingering question of justice that echoes to this day. It all came to a devastating end in 1897. In what was called a punitive expedition, a British force of over 1,200 soldiers marched on Benin City. Their stated goal was to avenge the deaths of a previous British delegation, but the result was the utter destruction of the kingdom. The city was burned, its people scattered, and its king, the Aba Ovenramwen, was exiled. And in the smoldering ruins, the soldiers found the treasure. They looted the royal palace, stripping it of its historical records. Thousands of priceless artifacts, the Benin Bronzes, were seized and packed into crates, destined for Europe. The journey of the Bronzes after their theft is a story in itself. They arrived in London to astonishment. European experts at the time couldn't believe that such sophisticated metalwork could have been created by African artisans. Some even theorized they must have been made by the Portuguese, or perhaps even the lost civilization of Atlantis. These racist assumptions were quickly proven wrong. The bronzes were undeniably the work of the Edo people, a testament to a centuries-old tradition of master craftsmanship passed down through generations. Soon, the collection was scattered. Many pieces were sold off to pay for the expedition's costs. They found their way into the hands of private collectors and, most notably, into the world's most prestigious museums. The British Museum in London holds the largest and most significant collection, with over 900 pieces. Others are housed in the Ethnological Museum of Berlin, the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, and dozens of other institutions across the globe. For over a century, these stolen artifacts have been displayed as prized exhibits, symbols of a distant, exotic culture, often with little to no mention of the violent circumstances of their acquisition. But back in Benin City, the loss was felt as more than just a theft of art. It was an erasure of history. Imagine losing all your family photo albums, your history books, your national archives, all at once. That's what the looting represented. The bronzes were a living library, each piece a chapter in the kingdom's story. Without them, a profound cultural void was left behind. And then there's the legend of the curse. Local oral history speaks of a powerful curse placed upon the stolen artifacts. It's said that those who held onto the stolen treasures would face misfortune, a belief that some see as a form of spiritual justice. While many dismiss this as folklore, it's fascinating to look at the stories that have emerged over the decades. There are whispers of collectors who met untimely ends, of institutions plagued by strange occurrences. A well-known story involves a British soldier who participated in the raid. He took a bronze head and an ivory tusk. His family reportedly suffered from generations of bad luck until his grandson, a medical doctor, felt compelled to return the items to the rightful heirs of the Benin Kingdom in an attempt to break the supposed curse. Whether you believe in curses or not, these stories highlight the deep spiritual and cultural weight these objects carry. They are not just metal, they are imbued with meaning, power, and a history that refuses to be silenced. For decades, Nigeria has been fighting for the return of its stolen heritage. The calls for repatriation began not long after the country gained independence in 1960. It was a matter of national pride, of reclaiming a stolen identity. The Aba of Benin, the spiritual and traditional leader, has been at the forefront of this campaign. For them, the bronzes are not just museum pieces. They are sacred objects essential for their rituals and for the education of future generations. The debate over repatriation is complex and filled with arguments from both sides. For a long time, the major museums holding the bronzes employed what's often called the universal museum argument. They claimed they were safeguarding these treasures for all of humanity, that they had the resources for better preservation, and that their global audience allowed more people to appreciate them. They argued that sending them back would be like dismembering a global collection. They also raised legal complexities, citing laws that prevented them from deaccessioning objects from their collections. But the tide is turning. In recent years, the moral argument for repatriation has gained unstoppable momentum. Activists, scholars, and a younger, more socially conscious generation are asking a simple, powerful question. How can you rightfully display objects that were so clearly stolen through an act of war? The context of their acquisition can no longer be ignored. The violence, the fire, the looting, it's all part of their story. To display them without acknowledging this is to perpetuate a colonial narrative. This shift in perspective has led to real action. In 2021, Germany announced its intention to return a significant number of its Benin Bronzes, a landmark decision that sent ripples through the museum world. France has returned artifacts to the nation of Benin. Universities like Cambridge and Aberdeen in the UK have returned their bronzes. Even the Smithsonian in the United States has committed to returning its collection. These acts represent a major crack in the wall of museum resistance. However, the largest collection remains in London at the British Museum, which has so far agreed only to loans, not a full, unconditional return of ownership. The debate continues, but the direction is clear. The conversation is no longer about if the bronzes should be returned, but how and when. The return of the bronzes is more than just a physical transfer of objects. It's a symbolic act of healing and reconciliation. It's an acknowledgement of a historical injustice and a step towards correcting it. In Nigeria, preparations are underway. Plans for a new, state-of-the-art Edo Museum of West African Art in Benin City are in motion. This museum, designed by renowned architect David Ajay, aims not just to house the returning artifacts, but to become a world-class center for research, education, and the revitalization of traditional bronze casting, which, by the way, never died out and continues in Benin City to this day. The story of the Benin Bronzes forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about our museums, our history, and the legacy of colonialism. What is the purpose of a museum? Who owns history? And what is our responsibility to the past? The journey of these magnificent works of art, from sacred royal court to looted prize of war, from museum exhibit to symbol of a global movement for cultural restitution, is far from over. Their final chapter is still being written, and the world is watching. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as we do, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into history's most compelling stories. Let us know your thoughts on the repatriation debate in the comments below. See you next time.